Welcome to the stream. I can't see you right now because I am adding in the green screen photo. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sony is better than Canon and Lumix, and I'm going to get into it. I don't know if anyone's doing like live events. I do them for a living, and this is the City Council in Bellevue, Washington. That day I was streaming. 2 camera setup with the switchboard and the computer. It's actually pretty cool. And I had a choice of using Canons or Sonys. Didn't have a Lumix. Actually, no, I did have a Lumix available to me. And I still chose Sony. A couple reasons why. One, if I wanted to that day, I could just stream from the camera itself. I could have just streamed that whole entire thing, connected the XLR in, which Bellevue has. This City Council of Bellevue is pretty awesome. They actually have audio outputs that are XLR that could go into the camera. And with that, you get the ability to get crisp, clean audio that's 24-bit going into a live stream, and it sounds really great. And I could have done that directly from the camera to a live stream like YouTube or an RTMP or an SRT. Now that's a big difference. I was commenting on a different show, and I brought up the fact that Sony is the only camera brand that allows you to stream that's in the Canon, Lumix, Nikon battle to stream RTMPs, go directly into YouTube or do an SRT. That last one's a key. If you know, then you know. Nick Gurr, happy birthday, baby. All right. Yes, absolutely. And that message. Here you go. Anyone that pops on, just say happy birthday to Nick Gurr. It's somebody wanted that to be given, so just say happy birthday to him. Hi, how you doing? Anything TV Japan. When you're live streaming, it's easy to do it off of a cell phone. It's easy to do it from the camera, like the Lumix. But not everybody, thank you for saying happy birthday. Not all the other cameras come with the SRT. What the SRT really means for you is if ABC, NBC, ESPN, any of the mainstream media, professional people can send you the information you need to set up an SRT. And that will allow you to send a professional broadcast. Now this is the Bellevue City Council, so if NBC, ABC, the local affiliates asked for a feed from there, I could have sent it to them in an SRT. They usually send a box interface, by the way. And that's how they hook it up to the Canons, how they hook it up to the Lumixes. But being able to do that internally in the camera, that's something you can't do with Canon, and you cannot do with Lumix, and you cannot do that with Nikon. You can't just tell it the data, hook up to a Wi-Fi system, and go. You can if you're just looking at doing YouTube. YouTube pretty much allows you to do that as long as you got 50 subscribers. But if Fox 13, if Cairo 7, if PBS and all the rest of them said, can I get a feed from this event? I need to make sure that there's not going to be issues. So it's a local youth event. It's a sports event. You're going over to see the Huskies, whatever it is. Being able to stream and have safe packets and everything else coming from the camera is something that Canon and Nikon cannot do. I wish they could, but they can't. And this is the reason why I've chosen, and why a lot of people choose to go with the Sony. And it's not just the A7 IV, the A7R IV, the FX30. It's also their camcorder line too. So you don't have to get a special adapter or anything like that, because Canon provides an option for that. Lumix or Panasonic does provide an option for an extra module that you can buy. And then it has the option to do an SRT with a special license and a bunch of other stuff. Their isn't another manufacturer like Sony that just gives you SRT for free. No special licensing. And that's a huge difference on streaming or when you're doing an event like this. Here, if I'm using just a computer and going forward, that's easy work. That's easy. I can literally put an ATEM in place, do this, go onto the computer, type in all the information and the stream keys or the bots, and you're done. Hey, how you doing? Flo Herrera. But you can't do that in camera. Canon can't do that in camera. Panasonic can't do that in camera. No matter where you're going in their spectrum at the moment without buying an extra module that costs anywhere between $700 and $3,000. You can start off with a $1,200 camera, the Sony ZV-N10 Mark II. Put in the SRT professional stream key information, and you can stream 1080p from an $1,100, $1,200 camera and go all the way up to an FX6, which is a $6,000, $7,000 camera, and go all the way down. And then you can also use their camcorders that go up to like $8,000. You can't do that in Canon. Hi, Jason. You can't do that in Canon at all. You can't do it in Lumix. And this is the reason why I've chosen them. At the same time, say for instance, you need a professional recording while you're streaming an SRT. You can do that. So you can provide them with the professional recording at the end of the session. This is really cool because other manufacturers, you just can't do it. You look at Panasonic, you look at Canon, look at Nikon. They don't have that option. It's not available to put the data into your camera and then stream and then record in 4K. And I'm not just talking like basic 4K recording either. I'm talking like their high-end S-Log, if you wanted to record that and then stream the other way. And yes, you didn't have to turn the LUTs on so that you can actually have that stream look good, not grayscale, but that's easy to do. Turn the LUT on. And it'll just show that going out to the stream, and then you're recording an S-Log 3 in 4K 60, and then later on, when you deliver the material to the client, being ABC, NBC, any affiliate, they get a 4K 60, beautiful, well exposed, great footage that they can later on use in post-production to do slow-mos and everything else and give you that great extra look. You can't do that with Canon. I wish you could. You can't do that with Lumix. I wish you could. If you're a Lumix lover, if you're a Canon lover, I really want you to get a hold of them and say, give me the ability to do SRT directly from my camera. See what they say. They can do YouTube. They can do an RTMP, which is just a basic stream key. But we've had lost clients 2-3 years ago because we couldn't do SRT in camera. Now this update, or SRT even on the equipment we had, this update recently happened this year. So when they went to the 5.0 update and the 3.0 update with the A7 R5 with the FX series, which is the FX30, the FX6, the FX3, the FX2 now, they added in all of these broadcasting, high-level broadcasting stuff. And for those who love or want an opportunity to really do broadcasting and jump into it, Sony is about the only game in town that does it directly from the camera. Can you stream from your Blackmagic? Yes. Can you stream from the Canon? Not at all. Can you stream from the Lumix? Yes, but it's limited to, I think, YouTube and an RTMP. Which sounds really cool until someone calls you up and says, hey, I've got this SRT that you got to plug in so that we can guarantee we get this good looking footage for ESPN. And then you got to say no. You got the Fox affiliates saying, hey, look, I can either send out this whole thing and you're not going to be doing camera work. I've got another guy that's going to come out and do it for me, or I can give you the SRT. And if you can take the SRT and throw it right in your camera, and you're at the city council meeting, if you're at the function over here, if you're at a campaign meeting, or if you're at the 2026 FIFA stuff and you're an independent person, you can bring that option available to you. Put you above the rest. Now I get it, Canon, they call it Canon Color. Gotcha. All right, cool. Canon Color works for you. But what's Canon Color going to do when you have to run it through an ATEM on the computer and have to figure out how to put all that together to stream something? Whereas you could just bring a hotspot with you, like your cell phone hotspot, connect your camera's data for the SRT, and go. And the advantage of SRT versus RTMP and go on YouTube is if we lose signal on YouTube, sorry, stream's dead, life's over. If we lose some of the data packets on an RTMP, it's all squiggly and nasty looking and everything else, and it's just, oh my God, it just doesn't work. But an SRT is designed specifically to keep that image going. So if you ever watched a football game and it just stopped on a clip and then it went right to the next clip and it didn't have that little weird jittery stuff, that's because the SRT keeps that signal going smooth and it does not lose the signal. And it sends extra packets to protect it. So it's kind of like an extra protocol so that if you're doing a professional event, you're not going to look dumb when you're streaming this thing. And nowadays, everything is done streamed. Don't believe the hype that streaming isn't the world. Streaming is the world. It is exactly what we do now. If you are a live streamer and you learn SRT and you learn P2110, your future's set for the next decade. Because SRT is now pretty much the mandatory. So if you're going to be sending a broadcast to ESPN, if you're going to be sending a broadcast to any of the top affiliates that are doing sports, UFC, all the rest of them, doing smaller programs, but they want to have someone out there. If you're doing it for WWE, if you're doing it for AEW, and you're like doing these streams, you're going to need to know SRT. And you're going to have to have a product that has it. You either have to get a box for it or something. And the fact that you can take a Sony camera, starting from an $1,100 body only to a FX6 and a Burano, and stream from there with those cameras, it's amazing. What's really nice about that too is you can do 2 jobs in one day. So for example, you're going to be streaming that day, but you're going to be there earlier and you're doing recap video, you're doing pre-impact video for them that you're going to turn in later. So you can go to work and do that job and then turn around and say, okay, I got all the materials, the B-roll footage and everything else you needed, the slow-mos and all that, and then set the camera up for the long stream. So we're going to be doing some either a wide or we're going to do a dynamic shot, and yours is the SRT for that. And what they'll do sometimes, they'll just get on the phone with you and be like, hey man, we're going to be on with the phone with you for the next hour, and we're going to be really just chopping in the shots we need and everything else. So you may have 2 different cameras there. One of them could be set as a wide and the other one could be set as a tight, and you've got 2 different stream keys that are SRTs. The wide shots, you never have to worry about it. You just have that connected in your Wi-Fi and all that, you're good. In the dynamic shots you're working on, all of a sudden you've got a nice gig that day. You're really starting your day off. Whereas Canon, you can't. Now without having to buy extra stuff. And let's just say you've got a Canon that's like an R5. You're not going to stream from that. If you got a basic Lumix, you're not going to stream from that in most cases. So let's just say you're at a sub $2,000 camera and you want to be able to stream professional SRT stream. You can't do that with Canon. You can't do that with Lumix, but you can with Sony. Now, streaming to YouTube, a lot of these cameras are capable of doing that now because it's really easy to do. It's an easy protocol. It's, we even do it on our phones right here. But you can't stream to a professional SRT stream. Let me give you the definition of an SRT. Just so, for those who are watching right now, SRT streams, why is this important? How come you would want to do it? So you might want to Google this yourself, but I'm going to kind of give you SRT stream. They actually call it secure, reliable transport, which is a protocol that delivers high quality, low latency video over unpredictable networks, which is a major advantage over the older RTMP. It delivers this by using UDP-based transporters, which builds in reliability features like error correction, automatic repeat requests, minimize packet loss, and compensates for jitters. So you really just won't have that like it recovers any errors it needs to do. It sends out multiple packets. This is something that large affiliates do. Just so you know, let's see who uses SRT. you doing there? Appreciate y'all being on the stream. I'm pulling up some information here. I wanted to give you some accurate information, so I'm Googling this real quick. So give me just 30 seconds here. Appreciate your patience. Because I had to. So let me give you a couple of companies that use SRT, and this is the reason why this is so important. Do you like the NFL? They use SRT. Do you like Netflix? Do you like Fox News? Probably don't. Al Jazeera, you probably are like, eh. Do you like YouTube? YouTube uses it back inside of SRT. Let's see who else uses this. ESPN, Sky News is another one that uses it for broadcasting live events. This is the reason why you need SRT. Let's see, some of the companies, NASA uses it too, Microsoft uses it. Comcast, if you don't like their internet and their television, still, if you're going into Comcast, you're going to need that. There's some major companies that use it too. I mean, this is why Sony's better than Canon and Lumix. You don't have to buy a module. You don't have to have a $5,000 camera on your shoulder or a $10,000 camera on your shoulder. You can do this from an $1,100 camera. Now, can you stream YouTube from some of these cameras? Yes. But what if you want to, or are getting hired for a $700 day, $800 day just to do a dynamic shot, which is only like 3 hours, by the way. Then you're getting a camera equipment rental, which is another couple $100. And then they say, can you do a recap video? You can start off the day and do the whole entire like B-roll stuff in the morning. Do the stream for 3 hours. Then finish off the recap video at the end of the day. You have all the video from the 3-hour stream in 4K 60, all I, S-Log3 in the camera. Then you have the ability to deliver that. Plus, you've got all that all-eye footage from when you're doing all your B-roll. And you're able to do that with that Sony S-Log3 footage. But this was after streaming in an SRT for 3 hours for a company. So you now get the whole day. You get the whole day to be out there. Canon shooters, you get to do the B-roll. And then you may have to find a computer to maybe do the SRT, but you might be in a position where they're like, I just need it over here in this weird corner where I just have no power, no internet. I hope you got a hotspot. Good luck, baby. Can't do that with a Canon. You can do it with a Sony. Lumix. Love the fact you can do RTMPs. Love the fact that you can do YouTube streaming, but you can't do SRT. And that's the biggest difference. And that's why Sony is so much better and so much better positioned over anything out there right now. Will others catch up? Absolutely. And will others say, well, Canon just dropped a new sensor. This did this did that. Sony said, we see the writing on the wall. We have a good enough or better than good enough sensor to get everything done for everybody, including live streaming. Even the phone I'm using right now has a Sony sensor on it. So we have a more than adequate sensor. We need to be ready for the broadcast world. Regular TV is there, but ESPN now wants high-end 4K broadcast level, 4K 60. They want that. They are tired of the 1080p's. They are tired of going through these services that have unreliability. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our cameras capable from a $1,000 unit, which is a crash cam size unit, to a top-end camcorder on your shoulder that has a 20 times zoom. All of them will have SRT built into the camera, have an option for a LAN hookup so that you can actually hook an Ethernet cable to it to have more reliable internet, or if you're going to run off of Wi-Fi, you'll be able to do that too. Canon, where are you at? Nikon, where are you at? Lumix, where the hell are you at? Blackmagic, I see you, but once again, you have to pay for a specific service to even get close to using the same service. This is free on Sony. You buy an EV10 Mark II, $1,100 camera, body only, $1,200 camera with a kit lens. You can do an SRT stream at an event like this bar none, right off the bat. If you tried that with a Canon, you can't. And that's just it. You can't. With the Lumix, you can't. And that's what the stream's about. And that's why Sony's better. All the rest of it's just, minutia. And for those joining the stream, I'm really talking about what makes Sony better than Canon and Lumix in the streaming. Everybody can, sorry, Canon, have that conversation. Canon and Nikon can't do this. Lumix can stream from their camera in body. Sony can stream from its camera in body. But the biggest difference is the types of protocols. As of today, that could change in the future. SRT is pretty much exclusive to Sony at the $1,100 range and higher. And for those who don't know what SRT is for streaming, that is the secure, reliable transport. And it just ensures that there's no jitters, no mess-ups, no drops. This is what channels like ESPN use, Fox News, Fox Sports, and several other affiliates out there that use this protocol to ensure that they get the best and most reliable video. Microsoft uses a bunch of other companies because it's more reliable. Sorry about all the noise, it's just where I happen to be at. Why is this important? We're in the new future of streaming. We're in the presence of streaming. I'm streaming right now. This is my second stream today. And this one is completely about why and how SRT is just so much better when you're using it somewhere. Now, the other cameras are great cameras, don't get me wrong. If you're a Canon user, cool, love your Canon, be with your Canon, it's a great camera. If you're a Lumix user, finally they fixed that heat sensor issue, so apparently you won't overheat. I will find out this summer because it's one of the cameras I'm contemplating for my son. It's either going to be a Lumix or it's going to be a Sony FX30 or an FX3 or an FX2. Most likely an FX2 because it gives you the full frame world, broadcasting, and all the rest without overheating and being able to just do the job. And you've also got a strong codecs in S-Log3. Now imagine that. Let's get into the FX2. People were saying it's the dumbest camera that's been launched. It's not. It's got SRT in it. It's got full frame and Super 35. The readout speed is great in Super 35, 14 milliseconds. You're not going to have any issues with it, like wobble and stuff like that. You can hook a full frame sensor to it. You can do a live interview that just looks gorgeous. You can stream it 4K 60. Do you understand what that means? That means from the camera, it has enough computational power that you can hook up Wi-Fi to it, put the protocol information into the camera, and hit start. And you can stream in 4K 60. Name me another camera that can do 4K 60 and just stream in an SRT under $3,000 from the factory. And you can hook any lens you want to that matter. That's one of those things that I always worry about. Where's technology going? See, this is like my camera right there. That's an E7 IV with the, what do I have in there right there? That's a Hollyland transmitter because I was transmitting wirelessly over to my Stream Deck controller. At the same time I'm doing that, guess what I could be doing? Think about this for a moment. I'm transmitting a signal to whoever it is, mixer board for streaming. And then I get a phone call in and it says, can I get this? I like what we're seeing from this angle. I'm getting a message from ESPN, whoever it is, and say, hey, yeah, I'm here. I'm doing this. As long as my client says it's okay, yes, I can stream that one channel signal to you, and you can do whatever you want with it. And they're like, yes, I would love to have it. They send me over the SRT information. I can load it into the computer, load it into my cell phone, type in all the stuff, and put it in all the different locations. Connect that camera to Wi-Fi, while not losing anything for the other client, streaming. You just can't do that with anything else. And with that camera there, you can also get a K3M, and you're ready to go and you're streaming with the audio from the XLR. That's a whole nother level that Canon can't do. Lumix you can buy a third-party adapter for, but it's not Lumix's piece. And this is all for broadcasting. And this is the part where having SRT, having true line level audio, you're not going to be able to beat that. And being able to get, here's your SRT key for this angle, an SRT key for that angle, SRT key for that angle. You can literally be a one-man band and have like 3 different angles in a room, and one's dynamic, and be on the phone with whoever the broadcaster is, and just, there you go. Got a director just telling you what you got to do. Jump to the chat, says, can you give me, they just tell you, can you give me an angle over here? And you say yes, and then you just move the camera over. I've had those conversations, they're easy to do. And then they're just switching from the different camera angles from SRT. You can't do that with Lumix. You can't do that with Canon. You can't do that with Nikon right now. Let's do a quick check, just in case something's changed over the last week, because it's been firmware updates. There was a recent firmware update for Lumix. So let me check that firmware. Lumix firmware update. Lumix S9 2 firmware update. Did they actually do that? Oh my goodness. Check this out. The Lumix S9 does stream via this new firmware, which is awesome. And it streams RTMPs and YouTube, but it does not do SRT. And this is huge. Now for those Lumix users, massive love. You're in the streaming game. I think that's phenomenal. You're not in the SRT game. And that's hugely important. Because if you've got a client like ESPN, if you've got a client like Fox, if you've got a client like AWS, you need SRT. They want SRT. They're going to give you an SRT key. And like I said, that's what the stream's about. What makes Sony so much better than Canon, than Lumix? I forgot to put Nikon in there. There's a whole list. Okay, what makes Sony better than all the rest when it comes to broadcasting? You can start with an $1,100 camera and go all the way up to their $5,000 and $6,000 shoulder cams, their $6,000 FX6, and do professional work from just either an Ethernet cable or Wi-Fi. Stream key that's put in as an SRT stream key, and kick butt. Plus, all of those cameras can use either the K3M, which gives you line level audio directly onto the stream. So if you happen to be in a location where they're like, can you give me some line level audio? And I want to be able to have the stream done with a secured SRT stream, boom, done. You say yes. On top of that, let's just say in that same phone call and conversation, they go, well, we need some pre-B-roll and we need some post-B-roll. We are going to be putting together a whole set. Can you get that for me? You can say, absolutely yes. And then they go, by the way, is there any chance we can get all of that in S-Log3? And is there any chance I can get this in either a .265 or I can get this in an all intro? And the answer, once again, something you cannot say yes to with Canon, Nikon, Lumix, is yes. Absolutely, utterly, in every way, shape, and form, yes. Why is this important? With broadcasting changing the way it is now, with AWS doing broadcasting for football, for sports, for everything else, your opportunities as being a streamer is having SRT. Will you need a computer, or can you just walk out with your smartphone and your camera and you load in the SRT and go. Are you capable of setting up 3 or 4 cameras? And a lot of times they're static angles. This is where you can make a good day out of a day where it's like, oh, what? I don't need 4 staff members. I can run this with 2. I can set up a couple cameras, set up a couple Wi-Fi hotspots, and stream. Done. That's it. You're ready to go. And the facility does have Wi-Fi, or if it does have Ethernet, you can connect either one into the camera. So you got a cable, a V-mount battery, camera, tripod, no computer. You're winning. Canon, can you do it? No. Lumix, can you do it? No. Brendan Washington made up a really good point, and I had to check on it. With the new firmware that Lumix does, they can stream an RTMP. They can stream to YouTube. They cannot do an SRT. Why is this important? Because they're this far away from being a full production camera, whereas Sony is a production camera starting at $1,100. That is hugely different. And I'm proud to be able to use cameras like this and go on any set, any place, anytime and shoot this. Now this A7 IV is now the equivalent of the FX2, mainly because I can just put a fan on the back of it. So I can have that sitting there going all day long. They both will have 4-channel audio available for it through a K3M. Now, for those who don't know what a K3M is basically a handle that has XLRs in it, and it allows 4 channels of audio to go through it. Speaking of which, Canon a.p.c.photography. Talk to me, buddy. Why do you only have 2 channels of audio on your handle? I have to run a separate cable into the side and then the 2 XLRs on the top. Why not just give me all 4 in the handle? I mean, is it a protocol issue? Is it because your camera can't do it through that MI shoe that you've got, the multi-interface shoe you got? No, Sony's is multi-interface. I have no idea. I think it's just a smart shoe for Canon. That's a huge difference. And Canon just can't stream from their camera, period. I got news for you. You can't put the data in camera and stream at the moment. Will Canon have it? I hope so. Let's see. Canon, let's see if Canon's done it too. I hope they have, because I think that Canon should have jumped into this game. As of when I started this video, the last I checked, Canon SRT stream. So, here's a key one for you here. They do have SRT. And it's in one of the products that I use. The CRN300 PTZ camera. They have SRT protocol. And the rest are just broadcast cameras. That means any R series camera, any of the C series cameras don't have it built in. You have to get the CR. Let's see. Someone's gonna come on the stream and say, or gonna do a comment, so I'm gonna check right now. Canon C50 does. But so if you get the new C50, please forgive me, Canon. You got to go to a C50. Take that back. Your C50 can do it. And I believe your C80 can do it. So now the C50 and the C80 can do it. But what about the rest? Bring me in a $1,000 camera. Because they don't have it. Let's see. Which cameras can do it? SRT. Because as of last week, the R5 does not support SRT. The SRT IP was added to all their professional cameras. This is what I mean. You have to get, what, minimum a $5,000 package to stream, a C50 or C80 to stream. Sony does it from an EVN10 too. What more can I say? If you're entering in the game of doing this, and if you're watching this and you want to know who has SRT, it's Sony. From an $1,100 camera all the way up. Now, on the professional lines, when it comes to Lumix, sorry, you have to go all the way up to your professional line cameras. And I think this is the best part. I can say this with all certainty. If you are broadcasting, Sony has more solutions. If you're a broadcaster, Sony has more solutions. Well, it's been fun talking about this today. I love showing off some of what we can do. And thank you for watching. Peace.